Hey, this is a video response to your video on spiral dynamics, the second one. Um, yeah, I think, I guess my only point that I really want to make is that it's really good that you're trying to put the language of spiral dynamics in an evolutionary, through the language of evolutionary biology and science, because I guess this goes to a more broad topic, often an integral theory. It's a great framework for understanding evolution in reality and different facets of reality, but often enough, the language itself is often the barrier which people have difficulty crossing. So I feel like it's very important for people to to be able to understand the language and interpret it in a way that mainstream culture and um, scientists can interpret and understand and sort of grasp without needing to learn a new language and basically cross over that way. So it's like it's very important for us to continue to do this sort of thing. Um, Spiral dynamics is it's again it's great, but it has the tendency to be almost there's a lot of thinking behind it, but it comes off sometimes as very simplistic in a way that often gets generates a lot of criticism, saying like, "Oh, it's overgeneralizing. You can't reduce people to such a simplistic framework, etc." But really, it's a very complex process, and it's trying to wonderfully summarize how people evolve and develop over time, how societies evolve and develop over time. And I think and this crosses over to one of my videos that I made before about the degree of which you can sort of see an even bigger picture, um, not using any language spiral dynamics, but as you go up the spiral, you have a greater degree of self-awareness. A society has a greater degree of self-awareness. So a society, let's see, during the medieval ages is not as aware of um, the suffering it induces on any kind of menial labor, of serfs. Um, they're generally less aware of the rest of the world and more aware of their own little cultural sphere. And is often called ethnocentrism. So I guess you could say uh, self awareness and the degree of self awareness can help people realize where their society generally has a tendency to be at that any given time. And in modern society, we have more of a green self awareness bordering on yellow. Um, or, in other words, in a more sociological language, we have societies that have become more aware of other people in a more world centric perspective because we're kind of forced to do it. A shrinking world is going to need an integral perspective and a second tier language in order to sort of cooperate with each other because we no longer have the freedom to act more ethnocentrically without greater consequences. So we're actually facing up to a period in our history, in our time, where we're going to have to sort of um, figure out how to become world centric and how to help countries which aren't like that, and which are going to pose a threat and a danger to us, to everybody, to sort of start to learn how to work together. So we have a lot of green meme trying to figure that out. Not only figure that out because green meme is often a reactionary to a lot of the oppression that's been going on, sort of like waking up from a terrible nightmare that we've been doing. But not only that, but yellow now, especially with the emergence of the internet age, yellow is now becoming very important because we're going to start to think of ways to integrate and utilize um, new technology to sort of help the world get along with each other, help people get along with each other. So I think seeing the emergence of the internet age, the network society, collaboration versus institutions, a lot of these new methods of social interaction help shrink the world and create a global village or a global community. And as green meme as it sounds at first, it's actually a completely new way to structure society. It's not just becoming sensitive to other, but actually just integrating with other and facing the challenge of this new adaptation we're going to have to figure out. How to work together in a society, in a world that's shrinking with so many differences, and the fact that most of the world is not world-centric is going to be the greatest challenge of the 21st century, one of the greatest challenges. Um, so, I guess this is just a general question to you now. Do you think that in the 21st century we're going to be seeing a lot more um, naturally arising integral ideas, second tier, yellow, um, networking, collaborative, not only putting yourself in the perspective of other, but actually beginning to work and integrate other with your perspective, and see a greater whole? Do you think there'll be more of that? I mean, personally, I do think that if we're able to do this successfully, that we're going to see a lot more integral thinking. Um, Interestingly enough, I don't know whether or not Wilbur will be used mainstream. I don't know. I have my doubts about that, but I know Wilbur's ideas and his predictions are probably going to be true. Um, which leads me to another point of another I guess side note, if you will, about this. As we go up the spiral goes faster. Now, I don't know. I don't remember if you mentioned this or not, but it's also very interesting because over time we evolve faster. We evolve more complex at a faster rate. So I think within the next 100 years, we're probably going to be seeing vast shifts and changes um, in basically everything. Everything's from the way we structure society itself and social institutions, which will be much more decentralized and networked, to I guess political, cultural, scientific. There'll be so many revolutionary breakthroughs. There's going to have to be because we're kind of reaching a limit to the way our old methods of thinking can do, and now we're trying to figure out how to fix it. But my question is, even though there's going to be a lot more integral presence in the 21st century, do you think it will be hierarchical, or do you believe this sort of decentralized society will kind of shun away any kind of hierarchical map like spiral dynamics? Um, I tend to think that, ironically enough, even though we're in I mean, this is my thoughts on it. I would like to hear yours, but I would like to think that we have, even though it's going to be more openly shunned, it'll be more openly embraced. There'll be a lot of people who say, "Yeah, this is right." A lot more people than today. And if you think about it, over the past 10 years or so, I'm sure integral theory has been growing more and more. I mean, I try to show it to my professors. One of my sociology professors actually has an integral, Ken Wilber's collection actually. So it's just very interesting, and I just throwing these questions out there for you, trying to put it in a few other perspectives. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and yeah, that's it.